Imagine, for a moment that you music are standing in the middle of a crowded street. Someone you don't even know. Music walks up to you, looks you dead in the eye, and hands you a heavy, disgusting bag of trash. In that moment, do you take it? Do you clutch it to your chest, walk home with it, and spend the next 3 days complaining about how bad music it smells? Of course not. You'd probably just look at them with a mix of confusion and pity, let the bag hit the pavement, and keep walking. You wouldn't let that trash become a part of your identity. Yet, when someone hands us the trash of disrespect, a cutting remark, a dismissive look, a blatant insult, we don't just take the music bag. We open it up and live inside it. We let those words seep into our skin. Music, we replay the interaction 1,000 times in our heads, sharpening our own knives for a counterattack that might never even happen. We hand over the keys to our internal peace to the very person we claim music to dislike the most. The Stoics had a name for this. They didn't see it as a social conflict. They saw it as a form of voluntary slavery. Because if your happiness depends on how other people treat you, then everyone you meet is your master. And I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in having a random guy in a parking lot decide whether or not I have a good day. Think about the last time someone was truly rude to you. Maybe it was a boss who talked down to you in front of the team, or a friend who made a joke at your expense that felt a little too personal. In that split second, your brain does something interesting. It interprets that disrespect, as a threat, not necessarily a physical one, but a threat to your status and your ego. Your heart rate spikes. Your breathing gets shallow. Your fight or flight system is screaming at you to do something, to bite back, to prove you're not weak. But the philosopher Epictetus, a man who was born into literal chains as a slave and later became a teacher to the Roman elite, would tell you that the pain you're feeling isn't actually coming from the other person. It's coming from the way you're framing the situation. In your own mind. If someone calls you a name, and you get upset, it's because you've decided that their opinion matters. You've given them permission to hurt you. I like to think about it like this. If a small toddler, maybe 3 years old, ran up to you and screamed that you were a big purple elephant, you wouldn't get angry. You wouldn't go home and wonder if you really do look like an elephant. You'd probably just smile or keep walking because you realize the source is unreliable. You know the child doesn't have the perspective to truly judge you. The Stoic secret is realizing that most adults are just toddlers in bigger bodies. They act out of their own internal pain, their own bad moods, or their own limited perspectives. When someone is disrespectful to you, it's essentially a public announcement of their own lack of self-control. They're showing you their sickness of the soul. If you see someone coughing, you don't get angry at them for being sick. You might feel bad for them, or you might just keep your distance. Disrespect is a mental sickness. And if you react with anger, you've just caught the infection. So how do we actually handle the moment when the insult lands? The most powerful tool you have is the pause. Between the moment someone says something and the moment you react, there is a tiny window of time. If you can widen that window, you win. Silence is often the most devastating response to an insult. When you offer someone nothing but a calm, steady gaze, or even better, when you just continue what you were doing as if they hadn't spoken, you are essentially telling them that their words have no currency in your world. But there's a common myth that being music stoic means you just sit there and let people walk all over you. That couldn't music be further from the truth. Stoicism is about being effective, not being music a doormat. If a seorker is consistently undermining you, the stoic move music isn't to take it, but to address it like a surgeon. A surgeon music doesn't operate on a patient because they are angry at the tumor. They operate because it's the rational thing to do. You can set boundaries and speak the truth plainly without the emotional heat. You might say, when you interrupt me, it makes it music harder for the team to finish. I'd like you to wait until I'm done. There's no name-calling or emotional flare-up. You're just stating the facts of the universe. There's a famous story about Cato, the music younger, a legendary Roman Stoic. He was once in a public bath when someone accidentally or maybe on purpose struck him. When the man later realized who music Cato was, a powerful and respected leader, he came to Cato to apologize profusely. Cato's response was perfect. He simply said, "I music don't remember being hit." He didn't just forgive the man. He refused to even let the event exist in his memory. He didn't give it the dignity of music being a thing. Most of us are walking around with backpacks full of these hits. We carry the way our father looked at us 20 music years ago, or the way a stranger cut us off in traffic this morning. We are weighed down by other people's trash. The Stoic music rule is to just drop the bag. Another way to music find perspective is what the Stoics called the view from above. When someone disrespects you, your world, music becomes very small. It's just you, them, and the insult. But if you mentally zoom out and look at yourself from music, the clouds, you see a tiny speck on a tiny planet, music in a vast universe. In that context, does it really matter music that a guy in a suit called you an idiot? In a 100 years, music, you'll both be gone. The building you're standing in will be dust. When you realize how temporary music everything is, you realize how trivial most disrespect actually music is. It's a puff of smoke. You can even take it a step further and try to feel pity. Think about what must be going on in music, someone's life, to make them act that way. Are they under immense pressure? Were they raised music in a house where the only way to get attention was through conflict? When you see music, someone as broken rather than evil, your anger usually evaporates. You music wouldn't be angry at a person with a broken leg for not being able to run. Why be angry at someone music with a broken character for not being able to be kind? This shift in perspective music is what the Stoics called your internal citadel. It's a fortress music that no one can enter without your permission. You have to realize that yourself isn't your reputation or what people say about you. Yourself is your music character and your choices. If you are a diamond and someone calls you a music piece of glass, you don't actually become glass. You only lose your diamond music quality if you start acting like glass. If you become brittle and start shattering every time someone bumps into you. In music, the world we live in now, we are bombarded with opportunities to be offended. The internet music is practically built on the idea of triggering our outrage. If you don't music have a protocol for this, you'll be exhausted by noon. You have to decide what your piece is worth. Is it music worth more than the satisfaction of a clever comeback? Is it worth more than winning an argument with someone who doesn't even matter to you? The ultimate goal here is a state music of robust tranquility. It's the kind of peace that a storm cannot shake. But that peace isn't something that just happens music when life is easy. It's something you build when life is hard. Every rude person you music encounter is like a weight in the gym of your mind. If everyone was nice all music the time, your tranquility muscles would be weak. You'd be a psychological softie. So music, the next time someone tries to get under your skin, try changing the script. Instead of saying, "How dare they?" try saying, "Music, thank you for the practice." Thank them for giving you the chance to test your patience and build your silence. If you can see an insult as a gift for your own training, you are truly free. You are no longer a puppet whose strings are pulled by the opinions of others. You are the master of your own ship. The world won't stop being disrespectful. Music. There will always be rude drivers and arrogant bosses. You can't fix everyone else, but you can fix your reaction. Music. You can decide that your joy is too expensive to be bought by a cheap insult. Walk through the world with the quiet confidence of someone who knows music exactly who they are. When someone tries to hand you that bag of trash, just look music at it. Recognize it for what it is and leave it right where it belongs with them. Be the music stone that the waves break against. The waves will crash, they will foam, music, and they will retreat. But the stone stays exactly where it is. Stay unshakable. Stay music stoic.